let's stay with Kwazulu-Natal, the province continuing to battle water challenges, partly due to the ongoing heavy rains. Some of the residents there have been struggling with water supply since 2022 after the deadly floods that you will remember back in that period. The heavy rains have negatively impacted on the province's water and sanitation infrastructure. Well, to help us understand the extent of the damage caused by the latest rains, heavy rains that is, we're joined now by the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, who joins us via the virtual platform in Mpumalanga province. Minister, good morning to you. That province where you are is counted among those that may possibly be affected by the heavy floods that will likely come. Can we start with KZN, though, and ask you a general question about water infrastructure? How good have repairs gone there, given what has been experienced recently?
Thank you very much to you, Chloe, and the viewers. It's a very important question. You would recall that the most devastating, the biggest devastation by floods in 2022 was on infrastructure that supplies raw water to eThekwini in the form of Aqueduct 1 and Aqueduct 2, which are very big pipes from Negle Dam right to Reservoir Hills in eThekwini, where water then gets treated and then supplied to eThekwini. Now, Aqueduct 1 was immediately attended to, and by November, I think it was December 2022 of the same year, we were able to commission it, meaning that it had been completed, heavy as it was in terms of damage. First, we went down to some areas of the damaged aqueduct, and we could see that it had been damaged, cutting the rivers where there had been floods, cutting this huge pipe on several points. Now, it got completed and commissioned in December 22. But Aqueduct 2 remained, and it has now been completed, which means that in terms of supply water, we have restored it. All the 260 megaliters per day is now restored in terms of supply of raw water to eThekwini. We're happy to have accomplished this because even in terms of repairs of these two aqueducts, it meant changing a number of structural setup of the two pipes. Where the pipe would have been on the floor of the river, it now had to cross up so that we prevent the future damage. And whatever could be done in terms of the laying of the pipe, or the line of the pipe, it was more focused on resilience for the future. So that has been done. But I do want to say, even outside this damage and the repairs that were spoken about, which has now been restored, eThekwini had their own damages which affected supply. Biggest damage was in Otongati, where a water treatment plant there was heavily affected. But we went there several times, worked with eThekwini, and that has been done. But it still does not mean that eThekwini is completely healed. In part, it's because of their own problem. For instance, there's a southern aqueduct which they say got decommissioned as far back as 2016, 15, 16. But they just left it like that. There are two aqueducts from Reservoir Hills that go to the south, Umlazi and other areas following and so on. Now, when they decommissioned the second aqueduct, it's a twin aqueduct. When they decommissioned the second one, because of old age and now irreparable. Now, they didn't immediately take decisions and immediately set about, just like we've done on Aqueduct 1 and 2. For some reason or the other, and I think I must be straightforward, is poor governance. We now have had to engage them to say that needs to be done, and it needs to be done like yesterday, because we are all under the bus. Even if we at DWS were to say this is the eThekwini's own business, it does not help us, because we sound irresponsible, and we sound unaffected, and we sound running away from our overall responsibility of ensuring that people have access to water,
Minister
which we
Mchunu,
can't, because this is a constitutional matter. Yes.
Minister Mchunu, I'm glad that you have come to the resolution that you have. What you have just said now, that eThekwini simply is dealing with poor governance. Put that into exact words. What exactly is the struggle with the city of eThekwini? Is it people lacking the skills to deal with this matter? Because 6 beaches, most prominent beaches, had to open and close over the festive season. In fact, I'm not so sure about the open and shut, because the last announcement I remember was that, well, no one is allowed to go to the beaches because of the high levels of E. coli. What actually is the problem?
Before I get to that exact question, let me just inform the public that eThekwini has entered into an agreement with Umgeni Tugela Water Board, which is an entity under DWS. And the whole thing was supervised by ourselves and encouraged by ourselves, that Umgeni will take over 10 of eThekwini's waterworks, representing around 90% of sewer processing in that city, and then refurbish it and upgrade it where necessary. Work is now underway exactly to ratify and correct that situation. But let me then, so the public must now understand that that problem is being attended to by through that agreement, eThekwini and Umgeni Water, and we're delighted about that. But let me go back to your question. This complaint, we are no longer entertaining it, me in particular. Very intolerant about it, that we should sing year after year, old infrastructure, because infrastructure does get old. In any case, it does age. What is important is what you are asking the response thereof. It's a question of management. Those who are managing water in eThekwini, supervised by the council, of either delay attending to infrastructure that is aging until it is completely broken. Now, I would say that is part of poor governance where it happens, because by rights, you should not do that. Should assess your infrastructure on an ongoing basis